Hi, Caitlin. My name's Gabby. I'm going to be your nurse today. Is it okay if I come take a seat with you and we talk for a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about how you've been feeling recently.
Bad.
Bad?
Yeah. It's been a rough couple of months.
Yeah. Would you like to talk about it? Do you want to tell me a little bit about your past couple months?
Yeah. I don't know. I've just felt like really insecure and like it's all kind of falling apart.
Yeah. Has anything changed recently that you think may be causing that?
Everything.
Everything?
Yeah. My family it's not a good situation. They've been distant and they're not very supportive.
Okay.
And I've been doing bad at school and my grades are bad, and so they're threatening if I don't get my grades up. Yeah. So it's not good.
Yeah. Has there been anything at school that you've been really engaged with, or has there been anything that you've been able to do to help this?
Well, I used to play a sport. I used to swim, and that was good. It was a good outlet, but because of school, I had to quit because it was taking up too much time, and now I feel very alone.
I'm sorry to hear that. Do you have any other social support in your life other than your parents? I know you talked about.
I have my best friend. She's really great, and we talk a lot, but I just feel like sometimes there's things I can't tell her.
Mm-hmm.
So I do still feel very alone. I don't feel like I feel like I should join clubs, but it's scary.
Yeah, I completely understand how that could be scary. Trying new things is always going to be scary the first time, but great things can always come out of it. While you're at school, have you seen any clubs or anything like that that you might want to join that you've been interested in?
Yeah, I've been interested in this club where they will play games. So they've done pickleball and other sports related ones, like club sports. I know there's one where they do volleyball, which seems interesting, but it's hard to find the motivation between school and I don't know, just in general feeling bad.
Right.
It takes a lot of energy.
Yeah. Well, it is a good sign though that you're showing some joy in finding those things like exercising and going outside and things like that. It does seem like you do enjoy doing those things, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well that's good. Maybe we can try to focus a little bit on, getting you into those things and getting you outside and working out and hanging out with your friends again. So let me just see a little bit about, so since you've been feeling bad, has it been affecting your sleep at all? Yeah.
I just feel very anxious all the time, and I feel like I can never sleep. I'll have nightmares, and between that and staying up late studying, I just feel like sometimes I'll sleep 10 hours and sometimes I'll sleep none. So.
That's completely normal for how you're feeling right now. A lot of people do experience this. On top of that, have you had any changes with your appetite or anything like that?
I think I've been eating a little less. I feel like some of the foods I used to enjoy, maybe don't love as much anymore.
So, have you had any weight fluctuations because of that you've noticed?
I've been gaining a little weight, which is weird because I feel like I'm maybe not eating as much, but I also haven't been exercising as much, so I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. Have you ever thought about maybe making a plan to maybe plan out your meals? I know you said that your favorite meals you have not been enjoying as much, but maybe we could work on eating a little bit at a time throughout the day.
Yeah. I know I should. It's just hard.
Right. It can definitely be hard when you're upset to eat. That's not always the first thing on your mind, so I completely understand where you're coming from. Well, while we're on the topic, I do want to ask, just because of these feelings that you've been having, have you thought at all about harming yourself or others?
not others. There's been times where I've thought, about myself, but it's not often. It's an occasional thought, and it was worse a couple months ago when it was really bad with my family. Now it's just they're more distant, so it's not happening as much, but it's still there.
Do they tend to come when you're alone or when you're with others?
When I'm alone.
When you're alone. That does make sense. I know a lot of times people love being around people. Social support is a really big thing that we can have in our lives to really help us get out of these, upset moods and when we don't enjoy things. So I completely understand that. Have you thought of any plans or anything to possibly harm yourself?
Nothing concrete. Again, like a couple months ago, I remember just thinking, like, I have pills, but nothing recently. So,
Okay. Do you typically have access to these things? Like, I know you said that you have pills, but do you have access to other weaponry in your house or anything like that that you don't feel safe around?
no, those things, I think they scare me. I don't think
Okay. Yeah. So while we've been talking about this, I just want to let you know that there are a lot of people who also go through this. And, working with social support groups, getting out there, hanging out with other people, I know it can feel very hard just because you are tired, you're not hungry. Those things can really affect your life. But I do think that we could work on a plan to get you moving forward. Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, I want to get better.
Mm-hmm.
I do. It's hard. I think that if I just had the energy and we could find a way to have more, desire to do things, I'd feel better.
Yeah, definitely. Have you ever thought about possibly talking to a physician about maybe possibly getting you on some medication, or are you opposed to that?
I don't know. I've never been a super organized person, so keeping a schedule of medicines, I don't know how it would work, but I want to feel better. So if taking medicine will help me do that, I think it'd be worth trying.
Okay. So maybe since you are just a little bit hesitant to taking medication just because of the compliance to it, maybe we should start with some non-pharmacological, like not taking medication tactics first. So do you ever find yourself participating in like self-care activities or anything like that?
Recently, no. I used to be better at that.
Yeah.
I love taking a bath, but it just is really time consuming, I feel like. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then maybe we could work on maybe once or twice a week, possibly, getting you to do stuff like that again. So, is there any specific time that you like to do that in the day? Do you like taking them at night before bed, or like in the morning to get you ready for the day?
I think at night. I think that maybe it'll help me sleep better too.
Yeah, definitely.
So at night, it'd be nice to relax. I feel like I'm always on edge, so
Yes.
something to help me feel a little better before I go to sleep, and maybe I can stop having racing thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So then maybe we can make that into a plan where we're going to say, once or twice a week at night, we're going to work on relaxing. We're going to work on, doing those self-care activities, like you said, taking a bath. And then afterwards, maybe you could make a skincare routine that you enjoy doing, putting on some calm music, just getting yourself ready for bed, and then hopefully that'll help improve your sleep as well. What are some other things? I know you talked about being on the swim team. Have you ever thought about maybe just recreationally swimming, just on your free time while, I know you are busy with school, but...
Yeah, I've thought about it. It's hard. I know here at school there's only like set hours that they have the pool open, and it's hard sometimes going in and seeing my, past teammates like enjoy swimming and still swimming.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard
Yeah.
to be there, but I'm wondering if maybe I need to find somewhere else to do it.
Definitely.
I've thought about that a couple of times, but I feel like I have to just commit,
Yeah.
do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can understand how that would be upsetting, seeing your past, teammates that you were with all the time. And, maybe we could focus on, signing you up for the YMCA. I know we have one nearby, and they do always have open swim times. And then even on the weekends, maybe you could focus on getting all of your homework out of the way beforehand, and then maybe one day on the weekend you could go swim and just release all of your stress through that.
That
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah. And then I know you were talking about a little bit with your parents earlier. Have you been able to sit down and maybe have a conversation with them, or has, I know sometimes it can just feel like a lot of pressure on you. So
Yeah, I've stopped talking to them recently. It's not that I don't want to talk to them. I just, it really hurts to talk to them. A few months ago, they really blew up at me, and they told me, they called me a lot of names, and I don't want to go through that again. I know that when I do talk to them, I feel much worse, and that's when I have thoughts that I don't want to have, and I think about hurting myself.
Right.
So I just figure it's easier to stop talking to them.
right. I completely respect that decision. And if you think that is what is best for you, then I think that it is okay to continue making those decisions, because you do not want to be having those thoughts about yourself. I do think we should work, though, on getting you some social support. Like you said, you have some friends that, weren't on the swim team with you. Maybe if you have a roommate, or even just a safe adult that you talk to every so often, to be able to talk about these feelings. Whenever we have our meetings, you can come to me and you can tell me about things you've been struggling with. So I completely understand where you're coming from. And I think that, just coming up with these ideas so far, has this made you feel a little bit more hopeful about the future?
It does. I think that I think you're right. I need help and support in coming up with a plan, and maybe somebody who can help keep me on the right track. And because it's easy for me to go astray, and the bad days kind of take over. So if somebody can keep me heading towards the good days and help keep me hopeful,
Mm-hmm.
I think we're heading in the right direction.
I think that's completely normal for people to feel, and I'm happy that we were able to talk today. Like I said, I am always here for a listening ear if you ever need someone to talk to. And then when we meet again, we'll talk about all these topics and stuff, see if that's helping. And then in the future, maybe if they're not, maybe we can work forward onto medication or just different techniques that might work better. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
All right. Well, perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, and then now we're going to talk about interventions. So some of the stuff that we had talked about was creating a safety plan. So like we talked about with not having weaponry in the house.
It's making sure that you don't have access to the means through which you can self-harm or access weaponry, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the more dangerous methods through which people might commit suicide. We want to make sure that we're eliminating those, and then connecting people to social support systems where if they do gain access or they're feeling more of these negative thoughts, that they can reach out and have a non-judgmental response.
Mm-hmm. And then another intervention that we were talking about, like we discussed here, was just some self-care tactics. So like she had mentioned, taking a bath, relaxing, even getting outdoors, things like that. The more we do self-care, the more it can improve our moods, things like that.
Mm-hmm. And one of the big things, is with the promoting safety through support, is in general just expanding our support systems, whether it be joining clubs, reconnecting with friends, talking to people, and it helps promote the good chemicals in the brain and make people happier in general, giving people access to different activities to keep them, up and out of these depressive mood swings that can happen. The good days and the bad days, we want to just promote more of these positive experiences for people.
Mm-hmm. And then the third intervention that we had talked about was talking with the patient and then also a physician about possibly creating medication regimens for them. So like we had did here, we discussed with the patient first if they were even open to the idea of medications, because some patients may not be. And then, in this situation, they were open to it, but they wanted to try non-pharmacological options first. So we talked about that, and then how in the future possibly we could move towards a medication regimen.
Mm-hmm. And then when you do implement medication regimens, the importance of compliance. And then for specific medication types, we would want to touch on side effects to help keep them in a positive spirit, as opposed to maybe thinking about the side effects and letting that also contribute to the feelings and their mood and affect. So just being very observant and knowledgeable about medications and utilizing them in a way that is individualized to the patient.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.